Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world. Today, we're looking at a really tough, persistent problem: anti-poverty programs that, for some reason, don't seem to actually reduce poverty. All right, so let's get right into it. You've probably seen this, right? In cities all over the country, millions, billions even, of dollars and just so much effort gets poured into these programs. And yet, the poverty rate, it just stays the same year after year. So what gives? Are all these programs just bad? Or is there something bigger, something deeper going on with the system itself? So to really wrap our heads around this, we're going to zoom in on one specific place. We're looking at Rochester, New York, through the lens of Brian Caterino's fantastic analysis. Now, Rochester used to be this booming industrial city. They even called it the city of quality. But that's not the story today. Not at all. Yeah, just look at that number for a second. 32.9%. We're talking about nearly 1 in 3 people in Rochester living in poverty. And this is after years of a huge, ambitious effort to cut that number in half. The needle has barely budged. This isn't just a sad statistic, you know? It's a sign of a major systemic breakdown, and we need to understand the structure behind it. Okay, so to figure out why everything seems so stuck, we first have to look at the blueprint. What's the core idea? The unspoken set of rules that's guiding all of this work. This philosophy, it's often called the neoliberal approach. And here's the absolute key to the whole thing. It starts with the assumption that the economy, the market, the jobs that exist, is basically a fixed thing. It's like the weather. You can't change it. So if that's your starting point, the only solution to poverty is to change the person, right? To help them adapt and compete in the system as it is. And this right here, this is the fundamental split. The way we do things now is almost entirely focused on that left column, individual readiness. All the energy goes into questions like, how can we train this person better? How can we improve their resume? But we almost never ask the questions on the right. Hey, wait a minute. Are there even enough jobs that pay a living wage out there? Or what if there are bigger barriers, systemic ones, that are getting in the way? So why this laser focused on the individual? Well, to get that, we have to follow the money. We've got to look at the incentives baked into the funding machine itself. And a big part of that machine is a model called collective impact. So this collective impact thing, it brings all the big players to the table: government, foundations, big companies. The catch? It's usually run by a small group of CEOs and elites, not so much by the public. And here is the most important part. To get and keep their funding, they have to show results. And what kind of results? Easy ones. Clean, measurable numbers. Things like, we trained 100 people in a workshop, or we provided 500 hours of coaching. See? Nice, simple metrics. And when that's your incentive, you get a really predictable result. A ton of activity, a whole lot of busyness, but not much actual progress in reducing poverty. To make this super clear, let's use a metaphor. I mean, the proof is right there in the pudding. Caterino's research is pretty blunt about it. After 5 years of all this work in Rochester, all the funding, all the programs, there was basically nothing to show for it. Lots of activity, sure, but real progress? Nope. Okay, so here's the metaphor. Think of the economy as this huge, sprawling highway. The way we fight poverty right now, it's all about one thing, and one thing only: building a better on-ramp to get onto that highway. But here's the problem. That highway, it's completely gridlocked. A total permanent traffic jam. You can build the most perfect state-of-the-art on-ramp imaginable, but it's totally useless if there's no space on the road for the cars to actually go. So that on-ramp, that's all those programs we've been talking about. Job training, resume workshops, financial coaching, all of it. They're all designed to get a person's car ready, to teach them how to merge into traffic. And, you know, on paper, it sounds like a great idea. But the gridlock, that's the reality of the economy. In a city like Rochester, you've had decades of lost manufacturing jobs, wages that haven't gone up, a serious lack of jobs that actually pay enough to live on, and even getting around is tough. The whole highway is at a standstill. And let's be real, you can't solve a traffic jam by giving people better driving lessons. You have to fix the highway.
Which leads us to the biggest question, right? If this is so obvious, if we're just building these fancy on-ramps to a dead end, why on earth do we keep doing it?
And the answer is fascinating. It's not because anyone is evil or has bad intentions, not at all. It's because everyone involved is acting perfectly rationally, based on the incentives that the system itself creates. Okay, just think it through. Step 1. The funders need data to show their boards they're making an impact. Step 2. Training 50 people in a workshop, that gives you a nice, clean number for your annual report. It looks like progress. But trying to fix the gridlock, fighting for higher wages or trying to bring in new industries, that's messy. It's political. It could take a decade to see any results, if ever. So step 3, the nonprofits, who need that funding to keep the lights on, make a perfectly rational choice. They focus on the programs that produce those clean numbers, and boom, the cycle just repeats. More on-ramps get built, and the gridlock never gets addressed. And this is the real crisis in perception. We're conditioned to look at the person stuck on the side of the road, unable to get on the highway, and we see it as a personal problem. We think, oh, they just need better skills, or their resume isn't good enough. We focus all our energy on fixing the driver. But the problem was never a deficit in people. It's a deficit in opportunity. The problem isn't the driver, it's the highway. It's the gridlock. And until we can shift our focus, until we change our perception away from fixing the individual and toward fixing the actual economic structure itself, well, we're just going to keep building more and more beautiful on-ramps that lead absolutely nowhere. Crisis in Perception examines how systems shape belief and how better tools help us see clearly. This project is free and publicly accessible. If you'd like to support the time, tools, and research behind Crisis in Perception, you can become a supporter on Patreon. For a longer audio-based analysis of this topic, see the deep dive linked in the description. If you enjoyed this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.